had gotten sick of seeing his face plastered on all of the entertainment sites and blogs. Sarah, his agent, had advised him to sue, but he had hoped the whole set of lies would die a natural death and they'd move on to their next victim. All Liam wanted was shut himself away from the world and write. It was all he'd ever wanted to do, and he wasn't going to get caught again. He intended to become a recluse. Uncle Joe had done just that in this house, and he would do it too. Liam had never been comfortable in the false world of Sydney. Attending celebrity events, the fancy restaurants and book signings had been at Vanessa's request. His wife had thrived on the publicity, until she'd found a more famous celebrity to hang on to. Ironic, really. She'd accused him of being unfaithful almost every time he'd signed a book for a female reader. Vanessa had been needy, and he hadn't been able to give her what she wanted. It was too hard. Liam knew he didn't have it in him to pander to the demands of a clingy woman. Most of the time he was lost in his own thoughts and planning a scene or setting up a plot, and he missed the cues that other guys just seemed to pick up on. So he was here to bunker down and write. He didn't need people in his life. He had his books and enough travel memories and stories in his head to keep him writing for years. His days of travelling the world were over. He had a home, and he wasn't going anywhere. For the life of him, he couldn't understand the macabre interest in his being widowed and what it had to do with entertaining the masses. The sales of his books had skyrocketed after the articles were published, but he didn't care. What he needed now was some privacy and peace. Then maybe the muse who had deserted him would return. He had been given 3 months to find it, or his deal with a top New York publisher was toast. No matter how well his previous books had sold, if he didn't deliver this book by Christmas, they were going to terminate the contract. He had 4 weeks left to write it. Even as he thought about it, dread rose into his throat and his mind went blank. The wind picked up and the chill of late autumn settled on his bare shoulders as he lifted the paddle and headed for the shore. There was a trail at the base of the cliff leading up to the house. When he'd set out, the waves breaking on the beach had been tiny, but now he had to focus on paddling through the small swells that lapped at the kayak. He glanced behind him as a strong gust of wind pushed him closer to the shore and the kayak slewed around side on to the waves. Liam knew he was going over and braced himself for the shock of the cold water. "It's not you, it's me." What a cop-out. The words ran like a mantra through Georgie Sacchi's head as she followed the trail to the beach. What was it about guys? Did they all gather around the bar together and come up with stock phrases to end a relationship with? Did they really believe any woman in her right mind would fall for it? "Mutt, I swear, if you pull on your lead one more time, I'll... A litany of swear words hovered on Georgie's lips, and she grinned. She was known as one of the kindest, most even-tempered residents of Malini, and her friends would be horrified to hear a swear word cross her lips. They'd be even more surprised to read her dark thoughts this bleak afternoon. Everyone saw her as a good sport, happy, easy-going Georgie, practical joker Georgie, life and soul of the party Georgie. She'd toughened up in the weeks since her mother, Marietta, had died, only a couple of weeks after spilling the truth to Georgie and her sister, Sienna, that their lives had been a sham. For 29 years, she and Sienna had believed they were fraternal twins. Not only had her mother told them they were actually cousins born on the same day, she had also told them her cancer was terminal. Georgie had spent most of her mother's last days by her bedside, but they had never spoken of the deception again. Sienna was her best friend in the whole world, and Georgie's sounding board when